Allegations of historical child sexual assault by a Kingsville priest.
Like most victims of childhood sexual abuse, it takes some decades to be able to confront it.
The claimant seeking millions in damages. Spirit Airlines shutdown alert.
They didn't even send us an actual email. My husband saw it on Instagram.
Why passengers are stranded and how to get your money back. And billion-dollar lifeline. Ottawa offering loans to support the steel, copper, and aluminum industries.
It really doesn't look like this is going to help a whole lot.
This is CTV News.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on CTV Windsor and AM 800. A Windsor woman says she was sexually abused as a child at a Kingsville church. She's now taking legal action against the Roman Catholic Diocese of London. It stems from an incident she alleges happened nearly 50 years ago. CTV's Sanjay Maru joins me now from outside the church where the abuse allegedly took place. Sanjay.
Stefanie, the woman at the center of this story is 52 years old. According to her statement of claim, she was in the first grade when she was sexually assaulted by a priest connected to this parish here in Kingsville. Her lawyer says she's filing this lawsuit now as she looks to confront what happened in her childhood. A reminder, none of these allegations have been tested in court, and the details of these allegations are disturbing. The allegations date back to 1979. A woman identified only by initials in court documents was 6 years old when she says she was pulled out of school at St. John de Brebeuf Catholic Elementary and brought to the associated parish nearby.
She was summoned out of her grade 1 class and headed over to the parish to receive a prize.
But her lawyer, Rob Talek, says that is not what happened. The statement of claim filed in late 2024 alleges the then first grader was sexually assaulted inside St. John de Brebeuf Parish by Father L.C. Mike Langan. The claim alleging she was inappropriately touched, forced into sexual contact, and left not fully understanding what had happened to her. None of the allegations have been tested in court.
Like most victims of childhood sexual abuse, it takes some decades to be able to confront it. And she actually filed this litigation around her 50th birthday, looking to reconcile some of the issues from her youth.
The claim alleges Langan used his role as a priest, chaplain, and representative of the diocese to gain access to the plaintiff and control her. It also alleges he made her feel special in the eyes of the church and God, while making her afraid her soul was in danger if she told anyone.
And that's because of the elevated position and power that's given to priests.
Langan died in 2005. But the lawsuit names the Diocese of London as the defendant. The claim accuses the diocese of failing to protect the plaintiff and failing to properly screen, supervise, and monitor the priest.
It's the Supreme Court of Canada that has ruled decades ago that when a priest abuses a young parishioner, the diocese, the employer, will automatically be responsible.
In a statement, the Diocese of London says it cannot comment on a case before the courts, but points to its safe environment policy, which has been in place since 1989, which requires all clergy and staff to attend mandatory training every 2 years or when there's a major change. According to Talek, this case goes beyond seeking financial compensation for Langan's alleged actions. He says his client wants this case to encourage others to speak up.
She's very determined to see this through and bring some light onto this issue and assistance to other victims.
And again, these are allegations included in a statement of claim. They have not been tested in court. Talek says his client is seeking $3 million in damages for emotional distress, pain and suffering, financial losses, and punitive damages. He's also asking anyone with information about Father L.C. Mike Langan or his activities during that time period to come forward. Stefanie.
Sanjay Maru with our top story tonight. Thank you, Sanjay. In other news, a 69-year-old man is dead after being hit by a vehicle early Saturday morning. Windsor police responding to Howard Avenue near Charles Street around 5 a.m. They found a man lying in the road. He was rushed to hospital where he was pronounced dead. Officers determined the man was trying to cross the street when he was hit by a vehicle heading north on Howard. The road was closed for nearly 5 hours. Police are asking anyone who witnessed the crash or has video footage to please come forward. A frightening wake-up call for residents of an East Windsor home. This was the scene off Paulette Road and National Street after a car drove into the front of the house. A loud bang startled the residents around 5 a.m. Sunday. Windsor police say the driver lost control of his vehicle. He suffered only superficial physical injuries and was not taken to the hospital. The driver was charged with careless driving under the Highway Traffic Act. The cost of damage has not been determined at this point. A 28-year-old driver is facing impaired driving charges after a crash in Leamington at 7:20 p.m. on May 2nd. OPP say 2 vehicles collided at Talbot Street East near Lush Avenue. One of the drivers failed to remain at the scene. The Leamington driver was later arrested and charged with operation while impaired, careless driving, and failing to remain. A 90-day license suspension was issued and the vehicle was impounded for 7 days. An e-bike rider is facing at least half a dozen charges meantime after OPP say they saw an electric bike traveling at a high rate of speed throughout the town of Kingsville and failing to stop at numerous stop signs. Police then located the driver at a business on Weigel Avenue where he had previously been served a do not trespass notice. Police say a 47-year-old man from Kingsville was arrested and is facing charges under the Property Act, the Criminal Code, and Highway Traffic Act offenses. Let's take a break now. CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald joins me for a first look at the weather from the top of the Bell Building tonight, where, Gary, we are talking about wet weather ahead.
Yes, wet weather. It looks like a beautiful day. It has been actually morning through the afternoon, folks, but the cold front that's en route is going to be the trigger for some potential showers and thunderstorms. And it's been windy ahead of this front, windy and warm, well above seasonal temperatures, but we're getting a sense of the front as it sweeps through parts of Michigan, upper Michigan, central, northern central Ontario. Those are showers, embedded thunderstorms potentially as it gets closer. So for supper time through to about 8, maybe 9, 10 o'clock, Windsor, Essex towards Chatham, Kent could be rainy. It's certainly going to rain tomorrow. I'll break down what you need to know on all fronts just ahead. For now, I'll send it back inside to you.
For a lot of Windsor Essex travelers, the cheapest way to fly often starts with a drive across the border. But this past weekend, one of the lowest cost airlines flying out of Detroit Metro suddenly shut down. Here's CTV's Travis Fortnum with the travelers left stranded and searching for answers.
One of the perks of living in Windsor, cheaper flights, just a half-hour drive away. But one of Detroit Metro Airport's biggest budget airlines is now grounded.
This morning at 3 a.m., Spirit Airlines ceased operations.
Spirit Airlines shut down Saturday, blaming deep financial troubles, stranding thousands of passengers, including plenty at Detroit Metro.
I'm so upset.
And what is the trip? Where are you going?
I'm going on a cruise.
And the cruise leaves when?
Tomorrow.
Spirit never operated in Canada and never flew out of Windsor International Airport, but for many Windsor area travelers, the low fares made the border drive worth it. Detroit Metro now warning passengers online, if you're holding a Spirit ticket, don't even bother coming to the airport.
They didn't even send us an actual email. My husband saw it on Instagram and was like, you need to go check right now. So when we looked it up, it was like, your flight's been completely canceled.
For many, that means scrambling to rebook, often at a much higher price.
They're going to give me a refund, but I don't know when. But in the meantime, I guess I got to look for another flight.
Spirit built its business on ultra-low base fares, sometimes as low as $50 US on routes like Detroit to New York. Yes, bags and extras cost more, but even with the add-ons, it was often still the cheapest way to fly. Now, travelers are looking at steeper prices, with other carriers like Delta Airlines listing the same route for more than $300 US.
I got rebooked, even though I had to pay a whole bunch of money more, but I mean, I had to do what I had to do because I invested in my cruise already.
Some airlines are stepping in with so-called rescue fares, including JetBlue JetBlue offering $100 tickets to stranded Spirit passengers, but only for a limited time. Meanwhile, the U.S. Department of Transportation saying passengers left without a flight should expect their money back.
You will get a refund for the portion of the flight that you didn't fly.
Spirit says it's working through, quote, an orderly wind down, including automatic refunds for some bookings. If you booked through a travel agent or paid by credit card, experts say a chargeback may also be an option. But for travelers who counted on cheap seats out of Detroit, their next getaway may come with a much bigger price tag. Travis Fortnum, CTV News.
The federal government is rolling out a $1 billion loan program to help steel, copper, and aluminum businesses hit by U.S. tariffs. But in Windsor, Essex, where manufacturers have been raising concerns, there are questions about whether it's the kind of help the industry actually needs. CTV's Chris Campbell joins us now in the newsroom with more on this tonight. Chris.
Yes, Stephanie, that announcement coming after a weekend push from local industry and MPs calling on Ottawa to step in. The loan is to help those Canadian companies to keep going despite the punishing tariffs. And Stefanie, even the industry minister isn't sure if this trade war will ever end.
In a moment like this, we just don't stand still. We act.
Ottawa announcing up to $1 billion in loans Monday to support steel and aluminum businesses affected by the tariffs.
The loans will be between $2 million up to $50 million.
The first year of the 3-year loans will be interest-free. This comes just days after manufacturers and local MPs gathered in Windsor, Essex, warning the situation is critical. On the floors of mold and tool shops, finished products like this one sit idle, not being shipped.
So I'm left holding the interest payments and the full cost of the tool until we actually do ship it to the customer.
Tariffs are now being applied to the full value of steel, aluminum, and copper imports, rather than simply the metal components, driving up the bill.
So you're talking, millions of dollars for shops that their total sales in a year might be $45 million, and if you're cutting out 10, 15 million of that they're holding on to, that's not a sustainable situation.
They're going to have to start making those tough decisions.
Reaction to Ottawa's plan is cautious.
I'm going to be honest with you, it does fall short. Does it create some certainty in an uncertain time? It does, because these loans will be used to try and keep these companies open while they try and navigate through what's going on. So it's not bad news. But I'm not going to say that it gets it over the finish line either.
Officials say while the quick response is welcome, taking on more debt may not ease the pressure.
At the end of the day, this is a loan. This is a very, very short-term potential Band-Aid.
Essex MP Chris Lewis argues the plan doesn't address long-term certainty for manufacturers. Windsor's mayor sharing similar concerns, worried companies could be left carrying the burden years down the road.
It really doesn't look like this is going to help a whole lot.
The overall message right now from both industry and local leaders is they are taking a wait-and-see approach as companies look for more details on how this program will actually work and whether it will be enough to get them through. Jonathan Azapardi is encouraging Prime Minister Mark Carney to come down to Windsor, Essex to see firsthand the impacts on the local industry. Stephanie?
Okay, we'll see if that happens. Chris Campbell tonight. Thank you. New technology continues to roll out in Windsor's downtown core to help improve safety. Through Project Greenlight, the downtown BIA is encouraging businesses to install AI-powered cameras that can issue live voice warnings, telling people to move on. The BIA is covering the first year of fees for a single camera setup, part of a $50,000 investment. So far, 21 businesses have signed up. After the first year, owners will pay $40 a month with options to upgrade to live monitoring of the video feed. The cameras are expected to help curtail loitering, vandalism, and trespassing.
Which is a big difference in just having a regular CCTV system. So that's the one thing I think is important to get out to members of the BIA, people downtown, is that the proactive capabilities of these cameras to get people to move along and stop doing what you're doing is what's most important.
Windsor's Development and Heritage Standing Committee is considering a rezoning request for land off Howard Avenue near Holborn Street to allow for a 6-story apartment building. The proposal includes 90 rental units and more than 110 parking spaces. At a recent public open house, some nearby residents raised concerns about height and neighborhood character, but city planners say the site is specifically designed for intensification. Ward 9 Councillor Kieran McKenzie says he's not prepared to support the proposal without firm infrastructure commitments for Howard Avenue. McKenzie said he isn't concerned about growth, just if the city is ready for it. Meantime, Essex Council is set to debate improvements to Colchester Harbour's operations tonight. The councillor of Ward 3 is bringing forward 2 motions, one to explore opening harbour preparations earlier on in the season. He says the current May 1st start is too late for anglers already active in April, and earlier staffing could improve safety and service. A second motion calls for reviewing options to reinstate seaweed management, as increased growth is becoming a hazard for boats. The municipality of Lakeshore, meantime, is boosting emergency response by adding 2 full-time firefighters. Council approved the motion in April, converting 10 unfilled volunteer positions into full-time roles filled by current staff. Mayor Tracy Bailey says it's a cost-effective step to support a growing community. The fire chief adds the change helps address rising demand and recruitment challenges. The municipality expects improved response times and modest savings starting in 2027. Now, Health Canada has recently approved the second generic version of what's commonly known as Ozempic. Originally a drug for type 2 diabetes, now better known as a weight loss drug. For more on this, we have CTV's Robert Lothian joining us. So, Robert, what impact does this have?
Well, Stephanie, the biggest change that consumers might notice here is actually in the cost. This is now the second generic approval of semaglutide. And according to an emergency medicine specialist I spoke with, increasing competition could help increase access to a drug that is sometimes out of reach.
One of the major things limiting access to semaglutide can be price for a lot of people. So by dropping down the price, you make it easier for a type 2 diabetic to be able to afford their medication, and you also make it easier for people who are using it for weight loss to be able to afford the medication.
Health Canada approving the request of Canadian-based company Apotex. It comes only days after an approval of the first generic version. While it is used to help manage type 2 diabetes, Ozempic has become commonly prescribed to help with weight loss. That's because the drug helps people feel full and thus eating less. As the drug becomes more available, Dr. Mitchell Schulman says the number of people reporting side effects is likely to rise too. He adds Ozempic has the potential for positive outcomes when used correctly.
You have to make sure that you know what you're getting into, you know what the potential side effects are, you know what to do about those side effects, which ones are serious, which ones aren't, and you can ignore them, and you have to have a game plan.
Now, part of making that plan, Schulman says, is creating a timeline for how long you will use the drug and making other lifestyle changes along the way. He adds it's important to start these conversations with your healthcare provider first. Stephanie.
Your family physician. Okay. Thank you, Robert Lothian, tonight. So this takes us to our question of the day. Are you or anyone you know taking Ozempic for weight loss? Go to our website to cast your vote, ctvnewswindsor.ca. On Friday, we asked, have you been working in the garden yet this year? Out of almost 900 votes, 53% of respondents say yes, they have. A piece of Windsor sports history is getting some attention. The mural on the side of the long-closed Windsor Arena needs some restoration work. After years of wear and tear, some of the names have been chipped off, but City Councillor Ronaldo Agostino says an overall review of the building is underway and mural repairs are included in the analysis. While tied to the expansion of the H4 hub, Agostino believes preserving the artwork will help the building be appreciated more for years to come.
We're going to use it to support what the downtown and what the city needs right now. But bad times don't last forever, right? And when those times go by, then that facility, that building will still exist for something else. And who knows what the future holds, right?
Meanwhile, the Windsor Spitfire season is over after losing to the Kitchener Rangers on Friday. This marks the end of the road for some of the team's longest tenured players.
You know, wearing this jersey every day for the last 4 years has been, you know, the best moments of my life, and so many memories have come from Windsor and just everyone being here and the whole organization. So it's been such an honor to be a Spitfire for the last 4 years.
Players wrapping up the season Sunday with year-end team interviews. Captain Liam Greentree is among the players moving on, hoping to crack an NHL roster this fall. Windsor made it all the way to the OHL Western Conference Finals before losing to the Rangers in 5 games. Despite losing several key players, head coach Greg Walter says he's optimistic about the team's future.
You look at our young guys, the Ethan Gardens, Robinsons, Johnny McLaughlin, Harvey, McKeish. You know, those guys playing in the going to the conference finals is only going to help us for next year, and we'll have a good group again.
LaSalle's night market are returning at the end of the month, celebrating all things local. Opening night is on Sunday, May 31st from 4 to 8 p.m. The LaSalle Civic Center will turn into an outdoor marketplace filled with handcrafted goods, food, fresh local produce, and live performances. The summer series is held on the last Sunday of the month from May throughout August. In September, the last one of the year will be held at the Events Center at LaSalle Landing. Admission is free and people are encouraged to walk or ride their bikes as parking is limited. Now, do you have any thoughts or comments about a story? Please text us at 10400. Still ahead on Windsor's news leader, more support for Ukraine. Why Prime Minister Mark Carney says this kind of direct engagement is critical for Canada. Windsor Essex home prices slip as listings rise and sales cool. When we return, the changing market. And tomorrow, honoring a hero. 20 years since the shooting death of Officer John Atkinson, Windsor's first officer killed in the line of duty. That's tomorrow at 6 on CTV News. Start your day with the latest local news. By signing up for our newsletter, you'll get direct local content straight from CTV Windsor to your inbox, including top stories, the forecast, and videos. You can sign up at ctvnewswindsor.ca. We are learning of a deadly outbreak of a rare rodent virus on board a cruise ship in the Atlantic. 3 people on board the ship in the Atlantic are dead, and another 3 are receiving medical care after a suspected hantavirus outbreak. The vessel departed Argentina 3 weeks ago, bound for Cape Verde, and is now anchored in the Atlantic Ocean as the World Health Organization locked down the ship and it's coordinating medical evacuations. Hantavirus is carried by rodents and can cause a fatal respiratory illness. The Prime Minister used his short trip to Armenia to announce that Canada is sending more military aid to Ukraine and to deepen trade and security ties beyond the U.S. CTV's Graham Richardson is traveling with the PM.
I began the meeting.
Prime Minister Mark Carney announced more aid for Ukraine's war with Russia, another $270 million.
You have all of Canada behind you, standing with the people of Ukraine.
Bringing Canada's total contributions to the war to over $25 billion. The munitions for Ukraine will come from the United States, despite pressure because of the Iran war. Carney says the Americans will be able to meet Ukraine's needs.
It's a question of financing and getting them there. We're doing that. We're getting them there. That's the first point. Second, we had made a commitment earlier this year in February, $2.4 billion for Ukraine, Canadian. So this is part of that overall commitment. We're continuing to provide it. It's part of a bigger puzzle in a conflict where Ukraine is gaining some advantage.
Carney is the first non-European leader to be invited here. The European political community was established after Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022.
It's my strong personal view that as the international order will be rebuilt, but it will be rebuilt out of Europe.
Antonio Costa is the president of the European Council. He says Carney's Davos speech, where he called on like-minded countries to band together in uncertain times, is part of the reason Carney was invited here.
Canada is one of the closest countries in the world to Europe. It's the most like-minded country, and we share the same vision of the world.
This is the Spanish national shirt.
This was a short visit with just under 30 hours on the ground in Armenia. Despite some criticism from opposition, Carney says this kind of direct engagement is critical for Canada.
The importance of alliances with reliable partners, deepening those alliances has become ever more so.
This deeper connection between Canada and Europe will continue. Mark Carney has the G7 coming up in the south of France in June. He was also asked to speak to the European Parliament sometime in the future, which he immediately agreed to. Graham Richardson, CTV News, Yerevan, Armenia.
Since the Iran conflict began, the price of gas has gone up more than 50 cents a litre. It's forcing many Canadians to cancel not just overseas vacations, but summer driving trips as well. Here's CTV's Adrian Gabriel.
While some cross-border travel may be taking a back seat this summer, Canadians are also steering their road trip plans in a different direction. This study released by the Tire and Rubber Association of Canada shares that 66% of Canadians say high gas prices are prompting them to cancel or limit their road trips this summer.
Is there any way you can give me a discount? Gas is really expensive. We have to travel 3 hours or 2 hours.
There's also early indicators that the painful price at the pumps may be affecting summer vacation rentals. Peter Guntunis rents out 2 sprawling 8-bedroom lodges 2 hours north of Toronto near Blue Mountain. Each place sleeps up to 20 people. In years past, he had little to no summer vacancy. This year shaping up to be a different story.
Usually we are booked by now, and now the challenge is trying to book up summer, which is the prime time.
Do you believe that the price of gas is changing consumer habits, especially at your rental property?
We still have vacancy, and other cottages up there have this vacancies as well, which is kind of strange. So for sure, people are not traveling. It's expensive.
What is your big concern here?
My concern is not being fully booked. We count on being booked the whole year. You know, Blue Mountain, for example, is a 4-season accommodation place. They have events going on all the time, and if we can't fill up those dates, it's not good.
Peter Guntunis tells us if his bookings don't start filling up soon, he could be out tens of thousands of dollars. One other observation he shared is that historically guests would arrive in up to 10 vehicles for his 20-person chalets. They're now coming in about 4 cars as they carpool and try and save money at the gas station. Adrian Gabriel, CTV News, Mississauga, Ontario.
Also down the average sales price and the number of homes sold across Windsor-Essex, but how many homes are being listed? The Windsor-Essex County Association of Realtors says the average price was $572,000 in April of 2026. That's down 1.11% compared to April of last year. The association goes on to say the number of listings across Windsor-Essex has increased, a spike of 8.2% compared to a year ago. WeCar is also reporting a drop in the number of properties sold. There were 437 properties sold last month, a 3.53% drop compared to April of 2025. Canada's main stock index lost more than 250 points today. In Toronto, the TSX fell 252 points. In New York, the Dow lost 557. The Nasdaq dropped 47. The Canadian dollar is down 1/5 cent today. On commodity markets, gold fell more than $111 an ounce, and oil gained $4.48 a barrel.
I think everybody in Canada that you speak to knows of someone who's had breast cancer.
The new Canadian technology that could be a game changer in cancer detection.
Let's look at our CTV News weather snapshot. Thanks to Leanne Doyle for sending in this great image. If you've got one, send it to us. Text it at 10400 or to 10400 10400. Shoot it horizontally, of course. We'll talk rain in the forecast coming up.
Quite a lovely day today, filled with sunshine. Gary joins me again for an extended look at the weather. Gary.
Beautiful to start and warm. Windy though, and we are now in this crunch time where with daytime heating temperatures well above seasonal, there's potential as a cold front's on its way towards southwestern Ontario that we could see some thunderstorms erupt through supper time right now over the next few hours. Reached a high of 25, average high is 18. That's warm for this time of the year, no doubt. So let's talk big picture. Warm, yes. A bit of moisture, of course, is required to produce some of that storminess. And we've seen some of the clouds move in. By the way, the air quality is still decent. The winds out of the west-southwest have been quite gusty. Sustained winds in the 30 to 40 range with gusts in the 50 to 60 range through to 8, maybe even 9 p.m. tonight. So it's windy, and there is potential of some active weather coming through. I'd say in the next couple of hours, we could certainly see some wet weather. Temperatures between 21 and 23 between Chatham, Kent, and Windsor, Essex. That's 70 to 73 degrees Celsius. Now the eastern flank of the country is warmer, especially in the Great Lakes, while Manitoba and Saskatchewan, even parts of Alberta, although relatively mild, start to cool down. BC is still warm. Vancouver at 21 degrees Celsius, well above seasonal. Cold front is stirring up the atmosphere. We can see those showers cutting across parts of Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, and northern or upper Michigan, heading into northern central Ontario, and there's our disturbance. We could see 2 or 3 waves between now and midnight, and then a secondary push for a wet Tuesday altogether. The worst weather does stay likely over Lake Erie itself and then slides further east. I'm not anticipating in the next couple of hours a huge outbreak of thunderstorms, but there is potential. Breakdown for tonight, still warm, quite mild. We'll be in the upper teens through to midnight. 20 degrees at 8 o'clock, 19 at 10, 17 or 18 at midnight with still a chance of showers and or thunderstorm activity. Enercare style 7-day forecast gives you an idea of daily maximums, minimums anticipated. Cooling off tomorrow, showery, 16, 12 and wet. A cooler Wednesday, sunny and 14 on Thursday. Friday, Saturday, 14, 17, mostly cloudy, showers possible. Sunday, fair 19, and then Monday, 15 and possible showers. That's a look at your weather.
Protecting kids from online harms is at the forefront of many discussions these days. Some parents have been pushing for new legislation to help enforce rules. While Australia implemented a world-first social media ban that other countries are now adopting, some Canadian parents are pushing back against the idea. Camille Calamari explains why.
Time is up.
Calls at a rally in Ottawa just days ago still echoing across the country for new online laws to protect kids. Countries like Australia already carrying out a full ban on social media, but some Canadian parents say that's not the answer. Do you think Canada should copy Australia's social media ban?
I would say no. Kids will find ways around it.
Carol Todd is the mother of Amanda Todd, a teen who took her own life after facing sexual extortion and a barrage of relentless cyberbullying. Her mother now believes a social media ban may do more harm than good.
There's a fear that kids will find other apps that may not be as popular to congregate in, and now as adults, we have no way to monitor or see that sphere.
And she's not alone in that view. Conservative MP Michelle Rempel-Garner arguing a ban could amount to unconstitutional censorship of protected speech. In Australia, a survey shows nearly 2/3 of teens have been able to bypass the ban, while government documents obtained by French news agency AFP show there has been no meaningful shift away from the platforms.
As we're seeing in Australia, they're using parents and older siblings' government-issued ID to bypass age verification. They're using virtual private networks to pretend that they're somewhere else.
But those in favor of the ban say it'll at least make it a bit harder for teens to access the apps.
The bans do cause that friction, so that impulse control, where it makes it harder for you just to jump on really quickly to the platforms.
With some parents asking for patience, saying it'll take time for a ban to work, especially if education and learning how to navigate the apps becomes part of the new legislation.
We need digital literacy at school. We need to start soon educating kids about the harms of this.
The Culture Minister's office tells CTV News no decisions have been made yet on a social media ban, but that they'll share details of a path forward soon. Kamal Koramali, CTV News, Toronto.
Early detection is a critical component in the fight against breast cancer for effective treatments and potentially life-saving outcomes. CTV's Alex Carpa on new research and imaging technology that could help address long-standing challenges.
So this is a lab prototype of our microwave imaging system.
A potential breakthrough tool in early breast cancer detection.
So these wires, this would be each one of these wires goes to an ultrasound transducer.
Researcher Joe Levetri and his team at the University of Manitoba are working on a new kind of dual imaging technology that can tell the difference between different types of tissue.
We're the first ones to couple ultrasonic waves, ultrasound imaging with microwaves, and we think that we've made a bit of a breakthrough in coupling those two to get more information of the tissues inside the breast.
Levetri says the technology could help doctors get better information faster, with the long-term goal of potential clinical and commercial application.
This would be an ideal technology to monitor during the treatment to see if the treatment is actually working or not.
More testing is needed before anything moves forward, a push being supported by Tomatis, a Winnipeg-based medical imaging company.
We're actually hoping to test this on humans, not in a clinical trial setting, but more of in a test landscape later this year, ideally.
The study, which is subject to regulatory and ethics approvals, determines next steps of where and how the technology could be used.
Providing some sort of option that would work kind of in conjunction with such a thing, maybe as another option potentially in the future, is something that I look forward to.
According to the Canadian Cancer Society, breast cancer is still the most common cancer among Canadian women, with about 1 in 8 expected to be diagnosed in their lifetime.
You can't deny the importance of breast cancer. I think everybody in Canada that you speak to knows of someone who's had breast cancer.
Levetri hopes this technology will help close critical gaps in early detection, ultimately improving outcomes and giving patients a better chance at timely, life-saving care. Alex Carper, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Still had some harrowing moments on the New Jersey Turnpike. A truck hit by a landing airplane.
Fan favorite SNL comedian Marcelo Hernandez takes the Coliseum stage at Caesars Windsor Thursday, June 11th. Enter online at ctvwindsor.ca for your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to see Marcelo Hernandez and a $200 gift card.
A terrifying close call caught on camera near Newark Airport. A plane coming in for landing slammed into a bakery delivery truck on the New Jersey Turnpike. In slow motion video, you can see the aircraft's wing and landing gear just moments before impact. The plane, traveling around 160 miles per hour, clipped a street light and struck the truck, sending glass flying and violently shaking the vehicle. The driver suffered cuts to his arms, but incredibly escaped any serious injuries. United Airlines says none of the 200 passengers or 10 crew members on board were hurt, and the plane continued to the gate normally. The National Transportation Safety Board is now investigating this incident. A Bell River couple grateful for the care Ronald McDonald House gave to their son are this year's McHappy Day ambassadors. Amanda and Matt McGowan's son Dryden needed extra care when he was born, so the family stayed at the house within a hospital. To give back, their team raised over $2,100 for the charity at April's Big Red Shoe Run. And they are this year's ambassadors for Wednesday's McHappy Day. It all raises money for all Ronald McDonald houses across Canada, where the goal is simple: keeping families close.
I think it's a great organization, as, like I said, my wife has said, it keeps families close by in the most important time when we need to be there for our son.
This is the time of year when many Canadians are getting their phone book delivered in the mail. Yes, it may surprise you to know that some people still use phone books, even in a digital world. CTV's Paul Hollingsworth on the passion for print.
Corrine McClellan received the latest phone book in the mail.
We took it out of the mailbox, walked home with it, and threw it right in the recycling bin.
Phone books have been discontinued in many Canadian cities. They are still sent out in small numbers. But even so, Mike McJanet hasn't used one in 20 years.
There's different ways of doing things today.
I think probably in another 2 to 3 years, we won't see phone books anymore.
CTV reached out to the Yellow Pages company to ask how much longer phone books in Nova Scotia will be produced. We did not receive a response. Digital anthropologist Giles Croach says people now find phone numbers online.
Any single-use technology that can be replaced by a digital technology will get replaced by it.
Croach says the same online technology has changed many aspects of our lives. Even hard copy instruction manuals and other paper products are being phased out by smartphone QR codes.
But you can also use them for a menu if you're at a restaurant. We saw that a lot during the pandemic. And you can use them to do two-factor authentication for safety.
With things like phone books, paper manuals, and paper menus slowly being phased out, what does that mean for people who don't have access to smartphones or the internet? Seniors advocate Bill Van Gorder says close to 30% of Canadian seniors are not online. They use phone books.
The problem for them is their children, the people they want to call, all have cell phones, and the cell phones aren't in the phone book.
Van Gorder wants seniors to adapt to digital technology to maintain their independence and social connections. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, Halifax.
This is your CTV Windsor Our Community Calendar. Join us for Run for Rocky on Saturday, August the 8th. Register by May 5th using code EARLYBIRD to get $10 off registration. See you next time on Our Community.
It's time to check in on what's happening now with Melanie Kentner. Now, Melanie, you have details on a mischief that's happening at a LaSalle business.
That's right. So LaSalle police are asking for the public's help to identify suspects who were allegedly throwing rocks at a business. It happened at a commercial property in the 8300 block of Malden Road on April 23rd. Police say 2 masked suspects threw rocks through the storefront and then fled in a white Ford sedan. Anyone with information is asked to contact LaSalle Police or Crime Stoppers. And of course, we've got that contact information at ctvnewswindsor.ca.
And we also have a story online, Melanie, a request from the Windsor Parade Corporation.
Yeah, so they're looking for a lot of volunteers for the annual Canada Day Parade. The parade takes place on July 1st in the heart of downtown Windsor on Alette Avenue. Volunteers are needed to fill a variety of roles, from lineup to parade marshals. Anyone wanting to help can fill out an application form online. And in our social spotlight tonight, the Star Wars franchise is celebrating the greatest fans in the galaxy today.
Hey, kid. The old protect the young, and then the young protect the old. This is the way.
That's right, it's May the 4th, and of course, they are showing clips from the new Star Wars movie, The Mandalorian and Grogu. It hits theaters May 22nd.
I'm sure a lot of our viewers are extremely excited to watch it, and I know a few people in our newsroom are as well.
It'll be a big day for sure.
Okay, Melanie, how can viewers submit a video that they think would be great for the segment?
Well, they can email us at newsnow@bellmedia.ca or text it to 10400.
And that's what's happening now. Thank you, Melanie. Iceberg hunting season is here. When we return, how these frozen giants are warming hearts and boosting tourism. Gary joins me again. Gary, may the 4th be with you.
Thank you, and also with you.
Thank you.
It was An interesting morning because I lost my train of thought there. Yes, I am a Star Wars fan. This morning it was quite beautiful, but the clouds are moving in just like the Force, the dark side. Now we're looking at the potential of thunderstorms, right? And some steady rain. It will be gray and gloomy, just like the Sith Lord himself. Perhaps we could see some sunshine. A little bright light, the Force, the good side, Luke, right? Not Anakin until he changes over before he dies and all of that good
Don't
stuff.
give away anything.
No, I know.
Okay. Thank you, Gary. Okay, finally tonight, it's been called the Iceberg capital of the world. And so far this season, the northern coast of Newfoundland has lived up to that name.
There's something special about ice. I mean, the world is intrigued with it, and folks come from all over the globe.
The hunt is on to spot a beautiful iceberg along coastlines and harbors in Newfoundland and Labrador. Magnificent photos of the frigid structures have caught a lot of attention. Photographer Michael Windsor has traveled the world in pursuit of the perfect picture.
Like a spring day with just the iceberg sitting off, and then the sun rises and you get the heat coming off the sun and the smells and just the sound of the ocean and the birds is just quite amazing.
Environment Canada says there's hundreds of bergs off the coast of Newfoundland and plenty of ice along the coast of Labrador that will soon be floating on by. Those are gorgeous images there.
Oh, now I've been to Newfoundland twice. Unfortunately, the ice flows weren't happening, but when I was there, but that is breathtaking. That's something I have to go at least for a third time.
Yeah.
Timing is the key.
Timing is the key. On behalf of our dedicated team here at CTV News Windsor, thank you for watching.
For updates throughout the evening, go to ctvnewswindsor.ca.
And Gary and Michelle Molesky will be back with your only late local newscast tonight at 11.
We'll see you then.